Hello, Leo, and welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for December 2019. A little bit late, I know, but time is being scarce these days. I hope you are well, Leo. This is going to be a general reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, it just doesn't. Yeah, check out also your other signs. So if, for example, Leo is your sun, check out what's your moon and rising. And to get a larger picture about what's going on with you. Alright, now let's see, my dear Leo, what's going on. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles as your current energy. Nice. What's your challenge? Knight of Swords. Okay. What's your focus? Ace of Pentacles. That's good. The Queen of Pentacles is your current energy. Ace of Pentacles is your focus. Is very good. What's your advice? The Tower is your advice. Where is this taking you? Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords been showing up this month like crazy. And it makes sense because we're wrapping up, like pretty much everything. We're wrapping up this year, we're wrapping up our Mercury retrograde, we're wrapping up the Jupiter in Sagittarius that just moved to Capricorn. So we're wrapping up a lot. We have the Six of Pentacles as your underlying energy. Is the theme of your reading. And I remember seeing this with you for quite a while now. I think you're still struggling. When a card repeats itself for a sign in many readings, I didn't check your last ones. I will though. But this is my impression so far, that you've been struggling for a long time to figure out how much is okay to give and how much is okay to take. And how you're doing that, and from where is it coming from? What is the place that's coming from within you? What you're giving and taking? Are you giving because you have enough, or are you giving because you're trying to get something back? Are you receiving because you are open to receive, or are you from what place are you receiving? Okay, let's pull out some clarifiers before we get into this more seriously. All right, now let's see, why are these cards here? We have the Hanged Man with the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Tower again as your challenge with the Knight of Swords. We have the Six of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles, which means happiness in this deck. It's called happiness as your focus. We have the Five of Swords with the Tower as your advice, which is actually called defeat in here, and it's very interesting that it comes with advice. And we have the Two of Swords with the Ten of Swords, which is called peace. Bottom of the deck, a blank one, interestingly enough. And then it's the Son of Wands, Krishna, which is the Prince of Wands, actually. Okay. Okay, Leo. Let's do this. The Son of Wands in the East talks about, it's actually the Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. We are in Sagittarius season, but in this deck they have a quite different flavor. And in this deck, the Prince of Wands talks about Krishna, is this archetype, and it's about, allowing the divine to run through you and manifesting it into the world. See, it's still one's energy, it's manifestation, it's what you're putting out into the world. Is what's the energy that you are giving from you. And this is about giving and taking. And Krishna is like using his flute and, he's manifesting the divine through his music. It may be that you're also having to do with music or being called to start playing music or singing or something like that. But it can also just be to find your own way of giving, but giving from the heart, giving from because that's what the divine really means, from that place of unconditional love. Our hearts is where it all is. It's like the micro universe is really encompassed in our heart, and it's a mirror of the universe. The other way around. They're connected. And I'm gonna read this Krishna for you from it's a very short read from this deck, just to get a better picture. Okay. The blue halo behind Krishna symbolizes the eye of a peacock feather. Oh, there you are. Krishna's flute music brings the divine mind into physical reality. Divinatory meanings: love of life, interest in the arts, tricksters, and attractiveness. That's interesting that the trickster is there, because it has to do also with giving and taking. I'm not really sure how to say this because I don't want to offend you, but okay, I guess the biggest question is actually, are you, in what ways are you tricking yourself? It's not necessarily about tricking other people into doing stuff, though you can end up being a little bit manipulating at times, Leo. I mean, you're a very powerful sign. You have a lot of energy. You have a lot of charm and attractiveness. You have this beauty around you. That's just part of who you are, because you have this, you get in touch with your inner child, and that's just attractive to everyone. It's that authenticity. But sometimes if we are not honest with ourselves, like fully honest with ourselves, we're not necessarily fully honest with others. We're wearing the same mask to others that we're wearing to ourselves. You have access to your divine nature now. You have access to your heart. You have access to much deeper information and resources within you right now. I think you're being called to really use it. And that's going to really lift up a lot of suffering from within you. It becomes effortless, like the giving and taking won't need so much balance, because it will become natural as you connect to your place of unconditional love. You won't feel that you're being used, or that you're maybe sometimes using people. You won't feel like you have to put too much effort, because it goes into non-striving when we're coming from a place of unconditional love. And I think you've been there. You are one of the signs that can do that quite well, Leo, connecting to that place of unconditional love, because you're so full of love. Leo talks about the heart. Yeah. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles and the Hangman as your current energy. I think that you're grounded now, and maybe this is why this is happening. It's happening because you are grounded enough to feel it. You're connected enough to yourself, and you're connected enough to your body, and you understand also that things take time. The Hangman talks about like really waiting. This is Neptunian energy, the Hangman, and you see how this Hangman is like hanging upside down. It's actually Odin hanging from the tree, and I forgot, it was a particular kind of tree, but I forgot what it was. And see how he's aligning with these colors of the universe, which are also the colors of the chakras. He's getting balanced. And the Hangman talks about waiting and a long wait. And look how this lady is like sitting here looking at her pentacle, which has to do with her, the object of her value and nurturing. And look at the crops growing around her. Look at the bunny here going around, which talks about abundance, which talks about the practicalities of life, but also talks about the fact that nature has its own rhythm, nature has its own time, nature's doing things the way it's doing things now. For example, in the northern hemisphere is winter, and when winter does what winter does, trees shedding off their leaves, and in many areas it's freezing cold, and I don't know, this type of stuff. It's part of the process, it's part of the cycle. And in spring we're going to have well, as much as we will with this climate crisis and changes in temperature, but that's a very interesting one, though. May have to start seeing what is also the new rhythm of nature. We will change our perspective here. Anyhow, there is still the cycle, and there is a time for waiting, there is a time for planting the seeds, there is a time for collecting the harvest, and so on. I think she's in between, and he's also in between any type of activities. Okay, and you have Knight of Swords in the Tower as your challenge. And given that your tower comes also as your advice, I think that they're really connected here. What is challenging for you is to communicate. And it's to communicate maybe that you need this change. The tower is like, you know, when the reality that we built, we concocted based on our understanding of the world. And, you know, when we create such realities, and we all do, that's how we survive into the world. Then we keep looking for confirmation outside of ourselves that the world that what we believe it to be makes sense and it's real. And maybe you start seeing the cracks into that. And it can feel quite destabilizing because, you know, it's a structure that's falling. And you find it difficult to communicate. And maybe it's important to. Or maybe you're becoming a little bit aggressive as this is happening because you feel vulnerable. You don't really know what to make of this, you know, when our reality is losing its stability and its concreteness, and it becomes this abstract thing that's kind of falling apart. It's usually a great thing, actually, and I know it doesn't feel like such, but it is a great thing because this is when we have access to the divine nature of ourselves. This is how there's a poem by Rumi saying that the wounds are the place, I don't know, remember exactly how it was. Like the wounds are like the places from where the light comes into you, something like that. Heavily paraphrasing, but that's the message. And see, actually, in this tower, there's this cracking. You see the light from within. You see this light here, and you see what looks like a little bit like lava or whatever that is, fire. So there's something been burning and mocking within you, and it needs to come out. And the structure that is like confining it, it has no place there. See, it looks like a prison a little bit. Well, maybe being an architect, I actually like a very simple structure like that. But it's really very, very regular, very, very. Let's not talk architecture now. The point is that it's something that it's not worthy of your inner diversity, and is not worthy of the color for you. And you're learning here about all your colors and all your flavors and all these things as you're waiting. And maybe that's how you're seeing, like, as you get closer and more intimate with yourself in this long wait and this intimacy that you get with your body and your inner being, you notice just how caged you really feel in the life that you've been creating and in the version of reality that you've been operating from for the past, I don't know how long. And yeah, I think like because you have defeat here with the Five of Swords, the Five of Swords is about conflict, and it's about inner conflict, and it's about like really getting a bit edgy with people outside of ourselves, and having that need to put people down in order to rise myself up. It's victories that come at a cost, and it's petty fights sometimes, and so on. So I feel that with this tower cracking open here, and see here, it doesn't really show it falling, but it's like really cracking open. You are you may become over aggressive. You may become a little bit, because sometimes the aggression is the best defense, when we feel vulnerable, when we feel that we don't really know what to make of ourselves and our world. We can it's like the wounded lioness. That's when she's most dangerous. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I'm getting like these very clear understanding of stuff, but I find it quite difficult to put it into words. So excuse me if sometimes I'm not finding the best way of communicating it, but I really hope some of you get it. Okay, so I want to read the Tower to you from this deck. Okay, so obviously it's Mars energy. The Tower symbolizes an arrogant technology that constantly desires more and bigger monuments to its conquest of nature. Inside of it, it is darkness and fire. It is a modern image of the Tower of Babel. The sunrise and blue sky suggest hope. So you might have pressure building up and long buried emotions let loose, news, and a flash of understanding. I like this with the pressure of building up. I also like that that's an arrogant technology that constantly desires more and bigger monuments to its conquest of nature. You are in a place where you start understanding nature in your present moment, and you start seeing the contrast with that. And it can be, as I said, it can be quite uncomfortable because when we have this huge contrast, we don't really know how to resolve them, right? We're like, okay, yes, I connect with nature, I connect with all, but I still live in a concrete building and I still need to take the subway to go to work or the car or whatever. Our use of technology is quite intense and we feel like so disconnected sometimes. Our phones are being built with, I don't even want to go into that, but you know that they use child slavery in order to get from the mines the metals that we need for our phones, and we can't even deal with that information. We can only shut it off because we need our phones. Yeah, maybe we start using like changing our phones. Stop changing our phones every time a new model shows up. But you know, it's just like we really can't deal with this. And that's what the tower can feel like when we feel like, okay, I really feel that something's really not matching here between the emotions that I'm holding and how I'm understanding the nature and the world and the way we've been like constantly pushing and building and upgrading. Your focus is like Ace of Pentacles and Six of Cups, which in this case means happiness. And I think that's a really, really important thing to look at right now because there's huge opportunity that comes with this. It is a big challenge, but this is a big focus. This is something that you really have into your life, this happiness. Because when the tower cracks like this, we really connect with the best things within ourselves, which is that place of unconditional love, which is our passions and our desires and the emotions that maybe we've been trying to suppress for a while. But you know, it's like so, that's where the gold is, really. And you can focus on gratefulness. It's a Six of Cups. You can, and this is another six. Sixes talk about growing a little bit outside of ourselves and starting understanding our that there is such thing as like we come into service in a sense. When we feel really joyful and happy, we feel the need to share it. But that's that sharing from the heart rather than, but this is also kindness, you know, it's also sharing. It's sharing from a place of love. And you're getting it. I think you're really, really getting it. And there's so much potential in this with the Ace of Pentacles into the real world. So much potential. You can have a gratefulness practice. I just saw the star here, right on top of this, which means healing, right? Also, Six of Cups traditionally talks about melancholy in the past. So maybe you have something in your past right now that can be actually helpful to you. Maybe somebody who's been loving and nurturing to you. Maybe they're still in your life or not. Maybe it's from your early childhood, but something that really helped you form yourself, to keep some of that tenderness and an open heart. And you can connect to that place. You can really connect to that place with that person, with that love that you felt in that moment in time. And you can still nurture yourself from that love. The Ace of Pentacles talks about nurturing, and you have the Queen of Pentacles in the present moment holding the Ace right here with the loving kindness. It can be that you're also connecting with yourself in a time where you were able to really embody this Queen of Pentacles with yourself, you know. When you were able to embody this, like when you maybe did some inner child work and you were the adult and felt wise and connected and grounded and you were talking with your inner child that's feeling maybe trapped and caged and unhappy for some reasons, and you were able to maybe parent and love yourself in ways that you haven't before. So whatever it is that can bring that type of really, really deep love and kindness, can be a grandparent that was really, really loving with you. Nurture yourself from that, because you can. You can access it. And you have keep your focus on, I'm not into positive thinking type of therapy or living the life. I mean, like, it's up to you how you live your life. I'm just saying that I'm not into that. I believe in honoring our feelings. I believe in honoring whatever is there. I believe in building equanimity and building our resilience to be present for whatever happens to us, not just look only at the good stuff and dismiss the bad, and that leads to bypassing, spiritual bypassing, and to suppression and so on. I do believe in learning to connect with certain parts of ourselves and energies just as much as we connect with the bad, because sometimes we can have bias. If we focus only on the negative, then that's where the problem is. So learning how to rewire our brain and how to um, connect also with our joy in our life. That doesn't mean ignoring what's not feeling well. It means embodying the part of me that had made it, that gained wisdom, that the deepest wisdom of ourselves, when we connect really deeply with our every part of our being and with our loving heart, and relating to my inner child from there, relating to my fear from there, relating to my aggression, which is actually where anger or fear, again, it's still all about fear, relating to all these parts from myself from there, not becoming this, but staying, being in my observant mind, in my part of me that's most loving and more kind, and relating to the parts of me that are acting out with love, kindness, and compassion. Okay, so you have the advice, the Tower, and the Five of Swords. So you're really guided here to let go, to let this tower collapse, because this tower wasn't meant for you. See, this is a square tower, and the crown is round, and here is like divine grace that's helping out this unfit structure to collapse. And when I'm saying unfit, I'm not saying that you are unfit, not at all. I'm just saying that this has to do with a model of the universe that you created, the way you've, I don't know, the conclusions you've made, the limiting beliefs that you've internalized based on your life story so far, the conclusions that you've made. That's it. It's nothing to do with who you are. You are a wonderful being of this earth, of nature, that's harboring so much love inside and so much beauty. You, and by allowing this tower, which is like a hard shield that we've put, it's really just like it's a big walls that we create around the heart, really, and allowing it to collapse, and allowing this, what you may consider defeat. I'm It's not really talking about defeat of the it's more about the ego, allowing your, sorry, it's a little bit hard to communicate this one. because I'm not so keen with the word defeat on this card here. The way I'm perceiving the Five of Swords has much more to do with those hard victories that we push ourselves in. But yeah, maybe that's it. Like when you see that a part of you that's fighty, that wants to win at all costs, that's a little bit ruthless, is coming out. Instead of pushing for that victory, that hard-won victory at the cost, maybe allowing it to not win. An argument, maybe, when you see that you're getting too feisty and too energized into a dynamics in that sense, in a more aggressive way. Maybe allowing that part of you to not have its way. I see a lion here, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I see. Is it a horse? This is a weird one. I want to see what that is now. That is swords, Five of Swords. So the broken swords represent technology. The ancient unicorn is dying. Oh, that's a unicorn. The ancient unicorn is dying. The bubble is tainted with blood. And meanings, it's like an overwhelming situation, need to hold on to principles until the time comes to make a change. I like that there's this emphasis on technology somehow. I mean, like, I love this deck, but I didn't know that. And I like also this bubble, and I see it here too. I don't know what is meant like by the author of this. This is, by the way, Heimdall Tarot. I don't really know what the bubble means to them, but what I feel like the bubble is the bubble that we create for ourselves. You know, we live in bubbles, and we connect to people that are similar to us or that vibrate on a similar vibration, and then we think that this is how the rest of the world is, but that's just a bubble. It's just our bubble. And our bubble can maybe grow, and maybe we can relax into it, and allowing more and more people to come into that. And that creates, in a sense, a more honest version of the world. But it can also become like smaller and just contain whatever feels similar to me, and that's it. And also whoever in this world entertains the world vision that I'm creating. Anyone else that might challenge it is not in my bubble. But yeah, here the bubble is tainted with blood, and the ancient unicorn is dying. So it's really connected with this. It's really connecting with understanding the nature, understanding how we forcing ourselves to live in an unnatural way. I think this is what technology is meant in this particular way. I think, yeah, this collapse is necessary. It's needed, and it's okay. It's really okay. You can definitely go through this. You have the strength. You have the you have the awareness of your inner divine. You have access to your heart. You have access to the nature of the world. You're aligning yourself with it, but with this hanged man period over there. yeah, it makes sense that the Ten of Swords comes after that. But it also comes with the Two of Swords, which means peace in this deck. You're making peace with yourself. You're allowing yourself to balance this part of you that's really striving and is going you a little bit hard on doing something artificially, which can mean forcing yourself into states that you're not in, forcing yourself to be who you're not, forcing yourself to achieve things that are not meant for you right now or whatever. And you end up retiring this part of you that's been running from these concocted mechanism. These are defense mechanisms. See, this tower is like such a great metaphor for our defense mechanisms and how they're we've been using them to survive. Yeah, we need shelter, we need this shields around us in order to survive, but at some point that we are safe and we overcome those needs, and that's when these shields aren't helping us anymore. Therefore they're starting to fall down instead of being caged, and we're starting retiring our soldiers. We don't need to fight anymore. It's time to make peace, and that can mean inner peace. I think it's a lot about inner peace here. Between two sides of yourself, the sides of yourself that's really connected to nature, really connected to your inner nature, and really connected to your most authentic self, and to deep understanding of the world and your values and what is really important right now. And the part of you that's like artificially trying to create something that's maybe forced upon you based on worldly ambitions of some sort. Remember, the key is to make peace. Each and every part of myself has been there for a reason. It's nothing to demonize. It's nothing to fight against. It's really bringing them together, allowing this part of me to, that is really not necessary. Like, you take your energy out of it, that's it. And you can put your energy to create more and more love, to create more love into the world, to connect to your deepest, wisest self, and to celebrate the happiness that you have in your life, because it's deep within you. You have it right over there. Peace. You're coming at peace here. So it's a beautiful process, a little bit intense, but you can do intense, Leo. Okay, let's see what Rumi says. The lover and the beloved. I think I saw this with Cancer. It's number 35. Okay, so the poem says, when you move beyond consciousness, you caress the beloved. When you move into the unknown, beyond everything, the beloved caresses you. And that's what you're doing with this tower. You're moving into the unknown. You allow what's familiar to you to sort of, it's not helping anymore, right? Okay, so this oracle brings you a message. Something has to change in your physical world. Exactly. The tower talks about the physical world because it's actually 16, and that means number 7. It talks about the physical reality. Something has to change in your physical world. You are in need of more sustenance, more love, more connection, and more nourishment that touches your body and soul and brings them into deeper oneness with each other, with life, with love. There you open up. This is opening up, my love. I know that we're not used to it, but it is opening up. It can feel very vulnerable, this opening up. So do a lot of self-care, connect yourself with the people that get you and understand you and love you, and make sure that you don't judge yourself in this process, but rather have your own back here. Okay. So you are in need of more sustenance, more love, more connection, and more nourishment that touches your body and soul and brings them into deeper oneness with each other, with life, with love. There you open up and allow that love in. The great beloved has desired that this be so. Will you heed that holy desire? Will you allow love in? Say yes. If you find this difficult now it is the time to gently, carefully tend to the walls you once placed between you and life. These are those walls that you need to tend to. Sorry, I just love when they line up so well. So if you find this difficult, now is the time to gently, carefully tend to the walls you once placed between yourself and life. Walls of tentativeness, excessive caution, fear of abandonment and betrayal, doubt for your own lovableness, and doubts based on past pain without substance. You are so much greater than these crumbling walls. They are the stuff that is designed for demolition, not devotion and honoring. Can you begin to unpack the bricks you mistakenly believed were essential to your safety and well being? You are too vast a sea for that small puddle of thought now. The oceanic world of love is your true home, and the sun is beating down upon you. It is too hot to gaze at the ocean longingly from afar, or even stand by its edge. Strip off your layers, run to the ocean and dive in. This oracle brings you special guidance. An offer or opportunity is on its way to you or has recently been presented. It may be an idea you have been nurturing or one presented to you by another person. Sit with it. Do you feel exhilaration? Do you feel energy at the thought of saying yes? Then say yes. Allow yourself to receive. Okay, this is also important here. Allowing ourselves to receive, not just to give. And it's important. Get that. Allow yourself to receive. There is divine encouragement in taking risks that feel wild and alive to your heart. Well, yeah, your heart's coming out here. And it feels risky and it feels wild and it feels vulnerable. But these walls are falling down. And I think you're in with it. You're keen with this. Because you understand. Because you've touched into that beautiful, deep inner love. All right, my darling, I hope that makes sense to you. If it does, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you here soon. Have a wonderful December. Happy New Year. All that.